So, name's Element Reptile. How are you doing? How's it going? 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 So, recently, for the past, what, 3 days, 2 days or so, we had news that went down. As y'all know about the Gen Z riots that's going around the world, that's happening in London. No, happened in Nepal, happened in Indonesia, the Philippines, throughout Southeast Asia, basically. And it's now finally had reached to another continent, to the other parts of the world. And what do they have in common? Well, the One Piece, the existence of the One Piece flag. Straw Hat Luffy, Echido Oda's amazing manga has completely created great sparks. And results of that, you know, something like this, you got that. Gen Z fighting all over the earth, from Morocco to Madagascar. What do they have in common? And as you know, right here, Nepal started it with the One Piece. They actually toppled the government. They toppled against the Nepo babies who were spouting out corruption, and bringing out like scandalous corruption throughout social media and policies in the government of Nepal. And those guys managed to do it worldwide. We're talking about around the world. What do they have in common? So, Straw Hat Luffy's flag. I feel like at this point, I'm like this. It's been said clearly. I mean, the show, even though it's fictional, it was talking about overthrowing, tyranny, and the name of the piracy, and that flag. And man, it is something. It's something underneath, bro. It's happened in Indonesia. It happened in Madagascar. And Madagascar, this is Andre Nearing, right? He was the youngest, one of the youngest presidents out there in the world at the time. He took the office at age 34 after the people of Madagascar sent home all the corrupt politicians, right? I mean, this guy, he was the president for like what, 2009, I think. And not to mention, this guy, surprisingly or not, he's also a DJ. Oh man, imagine dropping beats in Madagascar. He was a DJ. He would be dropping beats, man. Instead of being he isn't just talking about policies as the president. Why not perform rave events, house music? Come put some techno, house music, dubstep in Madagascar, bro. That would have been a pioneer for this guy. But instead, he was in power, and things didn't really go all the way in Madagascar, because Madagascar really was a very poor place. Just to be fair with y'all, Madagascar was a really poor place, and they were the things that the Gen Z, my generation, yes, remember I'm born a Gen Zer. I grew up in the 2000s, so I'm Gen Z to the core. Um, they they all wanted was water and electricity, right? Water, electricity, and a good for and affordability. Although, that never happened. And what they did was, instead of that, they put promotions of something else. And, like courtesy and, more and other stuff, rather than the simple things. And this was their way of protesting. These people right now here are just protesting against this is in France, right? They're just throwing tear bombs and all that stuff. And look at that. Believe it or not, I can't believe it. In Madagascar, they're off. Like, this is happening in Morocco. Like, if you, I don't know if you've seen this. Hold up, I just missed it. My bad. I missed it. God damn it. Oh yeah. Here, anyways, if you see this right here, that is a straw hat, but of the Madagascar caps. Yes, the One Piece exists, and these guys are using straw hats. Think of it. Look at right here. These guys are using straw hats. I mean, dude, is this is this can't be real, right? And it's crazy how it that it showed possibility, the motivation of One Piece, right? Because of the of all the arcs they had. But remember, we had the Wano arc, right? It's against tyranny. We had the other arcs, the Egghead arc, right? Against tyranny. We have the icebergs, the celestial dragons, Arlen Park, all those stuff. On and on and on. All these many arcs, Big Mom, the Candyland arc, right? They're all tyrannical world governments. And Luffy, remember when in one of the arcs, I think the Paramount War arc, that he declared war against the world government to save his brother, although unfortunately his brother died. Porcus the Ace. And man, he waved that flag. He waved that flag. The Jolly Roger, his straw hat Jolly Roger. It was a sign of rebellion. It was a symbolism. It was a foundational symbolism that they were swinging. And people, and little did Echida Oda knew that going from Nepali to Malagasy to Indonesians to more and more and more and more, like all the way possible. I mean, it's hard to believe that such a place, such a place um like One Piece can be an absolute symbol. It can be an absolute symbol of rebellion. It's wild. Look at this. It was wild is that in the wake of this protest of the One Piece, right? In these protests that against whatever the topic there is, um, they unfortunately people have died. People would there would be casualties. These governments would shoot 10 to 14 people, right? In there. And then they would spread misinformation on social media. It's wild. So that kind of, I think, strengthened that pride of using that flag. I think that's what they did. And then after that, right? After that, the military came in. The military came in to overthrow the government. Look at that. Look at that. Look, even in Madagascar, as the parent president, Andry Rajoelina, was decided to do a shoot to kill order, the army, the Malagasy army decided, nah, hell nah, fuck that. They said, nah, fuck that, dog. That ain't on my watch. He said, fuck no, baby. He said that, and they're like decided to join with the people. They joined in with the people. They said, no, I'm going to arrest you, and therefore, Andy Rohelia decided to flee. He decided to flee. I mean, these guys are cheering, right? The people are cheering there. People are cheering that the army. They actually toppled the army thanks to Gen Z, which brings enforcement to it. Brings great enforcement. See that kind of stuff. I mean, you see this. Look at this. Yeah, that's what. Now, a lot of people are wondering, if you guys don't know Madagascar, it is a kind of like an island nation east off of Africa. Yes. And no, Madagascar is not filled with just filled with animals. It's filled with people too. Please understand that. Understand that. So that happened. Man, you see that. You see the One Piece that happening over there. Like it's unreal. It's unreal. Look at that. Look at that right here. It's wild. This is during the protest. This is during the riots, during the uprising against the president of Madagascar, Andy, against Andy. Let's just say Andy Ngode. If you see it right there, it's Harry for a glimpse, right there. That's a straw hat. That's Luffy's straw hat. That is Luffy's straw hat right there, man. The fact that literally is just aura farming, and it showed proof, and it showed proof about it. However, not all, there are protests that do just like that's happening in Peru. That exist with the in Madagascar. It's also happening in Peru. That part. The people are being oppressed. People are feeling this and that. Though we have to keep in mind that there are protests and groups, right, that use the One Piece flag. They would protest for something else. I think this is happening in France. No, this is not it. But in Peru, right here, this is like a whole riot attack on Peru. On God. Yeah, look at that. Woo! Woo! Yeah. Oh yeah, that goes hard. I wonder if they're gonna do that in Slovenia or Serbia, right? But anyways, but in Peru, the reasons to it is a little more vague, unfortunately. And I read the comments of that. Yeah, like the comments are already kind of different to it. Um, apparently that the this it has been said if you look at the comments right here, like, we don't star on it. It says from the DW Espanol, the generation the yeah Gen Z has become the protagonist of recent protests against the government and the Congress of Peru. Thousands of young people have taken to the streets accompanied by the pirate flag of the Japanese anime One Piece, which has already become a symbol of demonstrations in Indonesia and Nepal. This happened in Peru, right?
One Piece, que también se hundió en las protestas de Nepal e Indonesia, miles de jóvenes salieron a las calles para expresar su descontento contra el gobierno de Dina Boluarte y el Congreso.
Tenemos una presidenta que no nos representa, que todo este tiempo tiene casos de investigaciones por temas de Rolex, cirugías, etcétera.
A la indignación por los escándalos de Boluarte se suman también medidas
Yeah.
polémicas que afectan directamente a los jóvenes, como la reforma del sistema de pensiones, que pretendía impedir a los menores de 40 años retirar el 95.5% de su fondo al jubilarse y los obligaba a recibir apenas
Okay.
mensuales. Aunque el Congreso y el gobierno dieron marcha atrás a esta ley, los manifestantes siguen denunciando lo que consideran un cogobierno entre Dina Boluarte y el Congreso. Las manifestaciones de la generación Z han
Okay.
estado marcadas por la contundente respuesta policial. 5.000 agentes fueron desplegados para contener las marchas. Los enfrentamientos quedaron registrados en varias transmisiones en directo. Hubo más de 15 heridos, entre ellos al menos 5 periodistas alcanzados por perdigones de goma. Recientemente el Congreso archivó una denuncia constitucional contra Boluarte por las más de 50 muertes
Yeah.
civiles registradas en las protestas de 2022, cuando asumió el poder. Según una última encuesta, Boluarte tiene hoy solo un 2.5% de aprobación, el nivel más bajo de popularidad de un
Yeah.
mandatario en toda la región. ¿Crees que estas marchas tendrán consecuencias? ¿Es la generación Z la nueva abanderada del cambio político? Escríbenos en los comentarios, te leemos. La
Yeah,
generación Z
that part too. This one, that one in Peru is that needs to be discussed. If you look at the comments right here, it's a bit different. Look, first one's guy saying that protest in Peru wasn't given any importance because it's the same little group that's always just likes to call justice itself. They try to intimidate what happened in Nepal, which is laughable because in Nepal the fight was against communism, and these troublemakers are communists. Hmm. Progressive and leftist paper always deceiving. They are paid criminals and a few sheep lobotomized by leftism and caviar of the crowd of the country. Right. Though the news piece they've been saying downplay it. This is when a little more debated because how Latin America is. Yes, Latin America is run by such ideologies. Oh, no matter, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But that Peru is it's something else. So rather than what's happening in Madagascar. Madagascar was plain and simple, bro. You don't give me water. You didn't give me electricity. What you gave me is just ads. You're trying to build a stadium. Do this. Trying to social media. Trying to interrupt my social media, which the people the rich guys in Nepal try to do, and decided to go. But these guys say, look, but in my country, Peru don't show anything about the march. Rather, they downplay it by saying it's a failure, that the march is useless. Even some invent that they are tucos or reds. The international media doing the work of traditional media of Peru's CCP of Dina. Their response, yeah, that kind of stuff they're trying to say. Oh, and then there started a response to where are the two goals that have been released? There's no longer the money of Odebrecht from USAID to finance the marches. That's why not many people are going. See, there's a difference. That shows a whole difference. This is super different to what happened in Madagascar. In Madagascar, that was genuine because Madagascar is one of the poorest nations on earth. One of the poorest nations on earth, and these motherfuckers, at least 5 dead by AKs, right? And again, look at that. You got that, and they were having a hurt, but they still over top of the government. The Malagasys over top of the government. The Kenyans trying to over top of the government since Nepal did it. Yet again, I said, what happened in Peru, that the protest with the Jolly Rock with the One Piece flag is unfortunately different, a different turn than what happened in Madagascar and Nepal, especially in Paris, France. This is another, or in France, not in Paris, but France, right? In France. They did have the same thing, the One Piece flag. Gen Z, right? It's all over the world. It is all over the world. A point of fact, Gen Z. That one wind up with stuff like that. Gen Z has been to be that. This one's happened in Morocco too. They arrive in Morocco. That's the migrant. I think this is in regard to the migrant crisis. But yeah, but you know what I get to it, right? You know what I'm trying to talk about. In France, I think that they had this one right here. Come on. Oh yeah. They're showing around the world. It's showing around the world. It's all around the world, basically. Basically saying. Yeah, it's basically saying it's all around the world that this thing. But it's just it's just this how they did it. I mean, people in Nepal had there were so many photos of it since Indonesia started it, and have done their uprisings, especially in the Philippines. It is just it's foundational. It is so foundational. We're waiting for Serbia. I wonder if Serbia will too. I mean, it's even on Twitter. I wonder if Serbia will also do that too because they're also trying to overthrow their government. Same thing with China. If no one ever talked about China, I get it. Again, if you guys went to China, it is cyberpunk galore. Cyberpunk galore. Like the most fictional city living in 2045. It is the most insane place on earth I want to go. The Asian century is there. Yes. However, 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 a lot of uprisings are going down in China. Just that they censor it. They censor it. They censor it. They don't want to show it because since China is built with at least 2 billion people there, there's about billions of people living in China. Of course, it won't be a doubt that there will be a censoring there or people choosing opposite teams. That's why they don't film it. And the fact that that was overthrown, bro. It was that the military decided to defect against the Madagascar government and join the people. Sure, it sure did. It sure showed proof that we can make a change. Yeah, I mean, people are getting sick and tired of it. People are being sick and tired of its tyranny. Look at that. That's the plane right here. That's the plane. You see, this is the plane of Andriy Rajoelina, right? This guy escaped like a villain. This motherfucker escaped like a villain. Bro, this guy escaped like a villain after that toppling. Oh yeah, and there's also captured videos here too of just police brutality right here.
Man is seen setting a woman's hair on fire during a crackdown. Protesters accuse authorities of corruption, nepotism, and failing to tackle poverty that affects more than 80% of the population. Now, soldiers from the army's Kapsat Corps, a unit that staged a mutiny and helped bring President Andrei Rajoelina to power in 2009, are siding with the protesters.
Let us be united, soldiers, gendarmes, and police. Do not let money bribe us into shooting our friends, brothers, and sisters.
Yo.
Return to the population.
The declaration went viral.
It is viral, bro.
Other security forces not to follow what it termed unlawful orders. It's a rare act of open defiance from within the military, in a country where coups have repeatedly reshaped power. Security forces fired tear gas, rubber bullets, and stun grenades to disperse.
Okay, I always want to ask, how heavy is that shotgun? You're gonna hold that shotgun like that. I've seen that shit in Zero Dark 30. No, and that Siege movie by Michael Bay. It was a true story. It was a true story movie. There's some guy was holding an AK one-handed. That's just badass.
Stun grenades to disperse the crowds.
Ils sont corrompus.
They are corrupt. They are incompetent. That's why we, Gen Z, are mobilizing. Enough of the old guard who are just lining their pockets. Make way for young people.
President Rajoelina has dissolved his government and appointed Army General Rufin Zavisambo as Prime Minister in an effort to ease tensions. The youth-led movement Gen Z MADA has rejected any dialogue demanding Rajoelina.
Yo. This is my generation. This is my generation.
Protesters and fears of another military split is growing. Many people in the country fear history could be repeating itself. Ali Hashim, Al Jazeera.
Yo, that's crazy. And they actually overthrow the government on that behalf, man. I wonder if it's happening also in London. It should happen in London because London needs it. I know it happened in that part too. But anyways, that is all to it for now. And I'm just recording. That's all. I want to see more of that too.